flatten function. Flatten takes a list and replaces any directed nested list elements with their contents. If those inner lists also contain directly nested lists, Terraform keeps flattening recursively until the result is a single list. Terraform does not flatten lists hidden inside maps or objects, so only list-to-list nesting is reduced. The outcome is a linear collection that can be reused by for each outputs or later transformations without extra list wrappers. Beginners often treat flatten as a cleanup function. Its real job is shape normalization. A for expression that loops over group data usually returns a list of lists. Terraform cannot use that structure directly in places that expect one element stream. Flatten removes the extra list boundary so downstream expressions operate on one predictable sequence. The outcome is simpler iteration and fewer type mismatches during planning. For each needs one collection whose elements are individually addressable. A flattened list becomes useful when you convert it into a map with stable keys. That is the missing step many beginners skip. Flatten does not create uniqueness or identity. It only collapses structure. The outcome is that you can first normalize the data, then assign durable keys, then create resources with deterministic addresses. The risk appears when engineers flatten data too early. Once the outer grouping is gone, the content that explained where each item came from can disappear with it. That breaks naming, tagging, and policy logic later in the configuration. On a submarine, a valve list without compartment context is not operational data. It is just disconnected labels. In Terraform, flattening without preserving parent metadata creates the same failure mode. The outcome is not a syntax error. It is infrastructure that deploys with missing identity. On a submarine, location is part of the system, not decoration. A valve tagged only as open is incomplete because the compartment tells you the consequence of that state. Flattened Terraform data works the same way. Preserve parent context before collapse, or you will create resources that are technically valid but operationally ambiguous. The safe pattern is two-stage. First, use nested for expressions to attach the parent metadata each child will need later. Second, call flatten to collapse the shape into one sequence. After that, project the list into a map for each if resources must be created. The outcome is readable code, stable addresses, and fewer refactors when the input hierarchy grows.